The Avengers and the X-Men are about to face off in a battle to settle all the tension between them. But this battle is nothing like you'd expect. I'm Andrew the Geek Master, and in this video, we'll dive into the latest clash between the Avengers and the X-Men. To make sure you don't miss stories like this, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and let's get started. The story begins in Alaska, at the site of the X-Men's new headquarters and home. The Avengers teleported here for a visit, only to be greeted with a cold reception by the team of mutants, who seemed to be expecting them. With tension hanging in the air, Captain Marvel, the Avengers' leader, demands Cyclops to show himself, saying there's no need to hide anymore. Sure enough, Cyclops, the X-Men's leader, steps forward, declaring that the time for hiding is over. In a dramatic scene, Cyclops says that if the Avengers are looking for them, they're right here. Carol responds confidently, stating that the X-Men can't possibly win this battle. The two stand face to face, looking ready to clash, when Carol suddenly says that the Avengers are really good at baseball. Yes, folks, this is just a friendly sports visit, not the fight the Marvel cover art suggested. Anyway, Scott and Carol happily embrace upon seeing each other. Scott even suggests that they play first and eat later since Glob Herman has been in the kitchen all day preparing food. Carol finds it a bit odd that the cook's name is Glob, but Scott reassures her that he's really good at it. Then we get a glimpse of the baseball game between the Avengers and the X-Men. Psylocke Quanon is the pitcher, and the ball is expertly hit by Captain America, Sam Wilson. As Sam runs to complete the base, Kid Omega Quentin Quire feels humiliated being stuck in the position of catching balls, especially since he's an Omega-level mutant. Using his telekinetic powers to catch the ball, he's surprised when Scarlet Witch also uses her powers to keep the ball moving. This allows Sam to return to base, giving the Avengers a point and tying up the game. This leads to a little argument among the mutants. For example, Magic comments that Psylocke is a terrible pitcher when she should be an assassin ninja, but Quanon responds that no one gave her orders to kill Sam. She was just told to play. The next batter is Iron Man, who tells the X-Men that he doesn't like ties. He came to win, and this is the last ball. The pitcher now is Juggernaut, and he tells Iron Man to get ready for a real throw. And indeed, Kane Marco isn't playing around. He throws the ball with such force that it speeds through the air faster than even Iron Man's suit can track it. The ball flies at an incredible speed, hitting the main X-Men building and causing a huge explosion. The game ends in a tie. Magic blames Juggernaut since he was the one who caused the tie, but Kane responds that he doesn't like baseball and was just really hungry. So even though the game ended in a tie, he considers himself the winner. Next, we have a nice scene with the team gathering to eat. During dinner, Cyclops reveals that all the food was grown right here. This is thanks to Glob, who not only cooks but also plants and harvests all the food. He's the one who turned the factory into a home. Glob feels awkward as everyone praises him, and in the end, he even gets a kiss on the cheek from Storm, who is very happy to see that her old mutant friends have someone taking care of them. Meanwhile, Wanda talks to Magneto. She doesn't like seeing her father like this. For those who don't know, Magneto no longer has his powers. In fact, Magneto doesn't like being seen this way either. Since the end of the Krakoa era, he's found a new purpose and had the necessary power to fulfill it. However, for some unknown reason, his powers have started failing. He even says that for the first time, he's thankful his daughter isn't a mutant. Hearing this, Vision interrupts the conversation and asks Max what this new purpose is that he's found. Max reveals that after the end of the Krakoa era, he realized that the fight isn't between humans and mutants, but between the oppressed and the oppressors. That's why he wants to save all the oppressed, whether mutants or humans. Kid Omega also interrupts the conversation. He still hasn't forgotten how machines and artificial intelligences almost caused the extinction of the mutant race. He questions why Vision is in the X-Men's home, but Vision doesn't take it personally. Instead, he tells a bit of his story and how he learned to love all living things. Meanwhile, Tony and Hank McCoy are working together on an old spaceship. They also have a very interesting conversation, and to understand it, I need to give a little context. This Hank McCoy is actually a clone of the original, because sadly, the original Hank McCoy turned evil and ended up dying. So Hank asks Tony why he didn't stop the original version when he became a monster. He questions why the Avengers didn't stop so many people from getting hurt. Tony responds that he couldn't stop him because there was a point where that Hank stopped being his friend and no one knew what he was doing. Tony also tells Hank that he's not alone. Many people there have gone through similar experiences. But Beast is very lucky. That's because Hank is afraid of his future, while Tony feels shame for his past. In other words, Tony can't change what he did, but Hank can still choose what he will be in the future. Another interesting conversation takes place between Storm and Temper. The mutant with fire and ice powers reveals that she wasn't part of Krakoa and still doesn't feel like she belongs with the X-Men. She wants to know what the secret is that Storm has, something that makes her fit in everywhere, both with the X-Men and the Avengers. As they walk, Aurora explains that any elegance or posture she has now, she learned it by being an X-Men. And when asked if she still believes in Xavier's dream, Aurora answers that yes, she still believes, but in a different way. She believes in the dream not for what it is, but for what it could become, what it should be, and what it needs to be. And finally, we have the conversation between the leaders of the teams. Cyclops says that for now, everything is going well. No one is fighting, even with Kid Omega provoking Vision. However, Carol decides to get straight to the point. She knows that Scott is hiding something, both from her and the Avengers. Cyclops deflects, saying he doesn't know what she's talking about. Then Captain Marvel asks why Magneto lost his powers, and why people over 20 years old are suddenly becoming mutants. Since Scott doesn't respond, Carol says that in fact it doesn't matter. She's always known that he keeps secrets just like she has her own. The Avengers have some information about the future they got from Kang and are trying to gather more. The villain mentioned great events of tribulation. One of them was the Blood Hunt, where Earth almost got dominated by vampires. And now Dr. Doom is the supreme sorcerer. The truth is, she doesn't know if the Avengers will be able to handle what's coming. That's why she extends her hand, asking if Scott and the X-Men will help them. Scott confesses that the mutants are on the brink of the abyss. Very soon, even the government might come after them. So, Cyclops asks Captain Marvel if, when the time comes, the Avengers will help them. Carol answers that it should have been this way from the start. X-Men and Avengers should have worked together. Then the two of them shake hands, making an agreement that the two teams will help each other no matter what happens. And that's it, folks. The battle between the Avengers and the X-Men took unexpected turns, but it showed that even with so many differences, both teams are willing to cooperate against the upcoming threats. If you like this video, leave a like to support the channel, share it with your friends who also love comics, and don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.